Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K. I hope you're having a great day. I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat, Saadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner, and he's about to take off out of here pretty soon. But anyway, he'll tell you about all of that. Nevertheless, the purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also to my wonderful moderators, thank you for all that you do in holding down the comment section. Today, we're going to be talking about Nolan Wells's parents said he didn't see the one thing that might have saved his life. And I'm going to get into that. You know, of course, a lot of this, as far as the situation there in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, has been unfolding by the minute. So, of course, I'm going to give you all, as much as I know up to this point. And then we'll hear from Donovan, and then I'll jump into the comment section. But nevertheless, as you guys may or may not know, last weekend, unfortunately, a Black teen by the name of Nolan Xavier Wells was found alive on Horn Island, which is, I guess, outside of Ocean Springs, Mississippi, which is said to be a predominantly white neighborhood. As you can see there, they said that was probably the last photo that was taken of him. He was hanging out with his buddies. Now, it is said that you need to take a boat to Horn Island. You cannot swim. You cannot walk, right? I think it's like 12 miles or so off of shore. So he went out there with his buddies. As you can see, they got something in their hand. Some people say it's alcohol. I don't know what it is. But nevertheless, he did not return, allegedly, right? With his friends. Said that his friends left the island at about 3 p.m., and one of his other friends, I guess, who was not there, called his mother, said, "Hey, have you seen Nolan?" His mother, Christine. So she said from that point, she began to panic because, she's like, well, where's my child? You know, why wouldn't he leave with the people that he left with? So, and I'm going to just go ahead and say allegedly right off the top, because there's still an investigation going on with this case. So from that point, Christine and her husband, what's his name? It's in my head, but hold on one second, because I want to get it right. Elmore, I think that's the name, Elmore. I had a whole bunch of names going on. Elmore, they went to see what was going on. Now, Christine, she reached out to a friend who is son is good friends with Nolan, and they tried to see if they can find his location. But it sounds like his location was pinging all over the place. Also, they noticed that he had not uploaded any stories to his Snapchat, which they said would have been unusual because he was just like a Snapchat type of kid, right? It's like a social media form, if you don't know what that is. And they said on that day, there was absolutely nothing. So they kind of believe that maybe his social media, as far as that's concerned, had been scrubbed. It's also said that some of his text messages were deleted. And Benjamin Crump, attorney Benjamin Crump, is representing the family to try to help get some of the things out, because on a preliminary basis, it sounds like the police there in Mississippi was trying to say, well, we don't really see any foul play going on here. But many people are like, nah, hell no, y'all not going to start that, right? Because we also found out that one of these kids' stepmama is a judge and the daddy is a doctor. So y'all know how it is, especially in these very white towns. Everybody knows everybody. Somebody's daddy is supposedly in law enforcement and things like that. So, of course, they're trying to find a way to just put it to bed, because without really saying the words, we can't say them on here. There's been a lot of activity as far as Black people. It sounds like a lot of Black young people coming up missing and then found in a tree somehow. Y'all do what y'all want to do with that. So from that point, they went and searched the island, they being Elmore, right? Nolan's dad. He said that the coach called him up early the next morning and says, hey, I got a boat. Let's go out there and look. They didn't see nothing or anything like that. They also learned that there were people actually camping on the island. You can't really live on the island, but there were people camping on the island. And so they said, we hadn't seen him. And his father was like, you know what? If my son was on this island that night, he would have reached out to the people that were camping there. Plus, again, one of the friends had taken the phone. Now, we were led to believe that one of the friends here gave the phone to Nolan's mom, like, here's his phone. He just left without his phone, but that wasn't the case. Again, she had to go find the phone. So they went to the friend's house that had the phone where it pinged at. They gave it to him. They also went to another friend's house where Nolan had left his car, and the friend was giving the daddy the runaround, like, oh, I don't know where his keys are. So he said when he kind of was like about to go there, somebody mysteriously found Nolan's keys. Okay, so then on Monday, the 6th, when they went back, the Cajun Navy and a whole bunch of other people to go look, there was Nolan's body on the shore. So people are like, wait a minute now. There's no way that his body just happened to be, roll up on the shore when we look everywhere. Okay. Now, so from that, the kids that he was with said, oh, well, he walked off with some girl he was talking to. But the girl was like, nah, hell no. He was with me for a brief moment, but he said he was going back to the boat to be with the friends. So she says, he was not with me. He said he was going back to be with the so-called homies, okay? So I'm just kind of catching y'all up before I show y'all the video that leads me to, if he would have saw this, he probably would still be here. Now, there's a judge by the name of Carlos Moore, who is an ex-judge from Mississippi, and he was just basically saying there's so many things that you could have arrested these kids on, at least so you can get them to kind of like get the story, right? He says, obviously, they're underage drinking. Sounds like there was some narcotics involved. They're all underage. Nolan was 18. They're all, 18 or so. He says you could have got them on kidnapping, because there's a video that surfaced of him basically saying, give me my phone, give me my freaking phone, right? So there was some point of contention going on. He said you could have got them for theft, for stealing his phone, at least to get them so where you can start some interrogation things, but nothing so far. Nobody's detained. They've all obtained lawyers and things like that. Okay. So I'm going to show y'all the video that I saw of his parents having a conversation. And I was like, okay. And then I'll show y'all what I saw. So here we go.
This might be a factor.
Like my wife said, I don't want to believe that, but it's so many things have happened, and so many things have been swept under the rug. Like I said, Nolan didn't see color. He saw people for who they are. And I used to always tell him, son, you need to guard that close, because everyone is not going to reciprocate that same love that you give. I just want transparency. I just want to know what happened to my son.
Christine, why does that make you so emotional?
Because he just had a big heart. Like, to really know Nolan, to have him as your friend it was something special. People aren't like him. He was just different. And
do you worry that he might have trusted too much?
Sometimes, yeah. And that was something we always talked to him about.
So, and I want to say, my condolences to them. That is very tough. I'd imagine to not only bury a child, but, have to bury a child under such nefarious circumstances. Tyler Perry will be paying for the funeral. Colin Kaepernick will be paying for the second autopsy. They've flown his body to Washington, D.C. because obviously, right, they don't trust what's going on in Mississippi. They want to know exactly what happened to him. Also, sounds like Byron Allen donated $100,000. So there's people really coming together so we can try to figure out what happened to him. But what the one thing that stood out to me is his father said he didn't see color. And when I heard that, I had to listen to it a few times. He didn't see color. Had he had seen color, and that's just to Nolan. I don't want to disparage the dead at all. This is to all of us, okay? Had he seen color, and not just because they're white, right? Because let's keep it a buck. People see color when they see black folks, do they not? Black people this, black people that. Oh, black, oh, they was a black. Oh, the blacks, right? So people see color when they see us. but we have been conditioned. Now, I don't know if they conditioned him that way, right? Because they said that he was too trusting, but oftentimes we hear that from our community. Oh, I don't see color. Oh, you can't help who you love. That type of stuff, right? Now, most of the time, people, when they say they don't see color, what they're really saying is, oh, I see everybody the same. I want to see everybody in fairness. I don't want to judge people by their race. I want to judge them as an individual. Now, ideally, that is the way you're supposed to see people, but that's just not what it is. Okay. I want to remove prejudice. If I don't see race, there's no racism, right? Oh, you're Johnny or you're Sally. But again, we know that's not the case. And also, when you remove color, you also deny that racism is a thing. And you also do not bring history into the equation, because we know as Black folks, especially Black Americans, and our history with white folks is not a very good one. Okay. We could go somewhere like Mississippi. I just look, right? We know, especially in the South, there was a lot of, and I can't say the word, okay, putting our people in trees. Let's say that there was a lot of that. They said upwards of 4,000 or so from the 1850s to like the 1960s or so. Of course, we know there was way more than that, but it said that most of those things, if you will, took place in Mississippi, Georgia, and Texas, in that order, right? So if you think about the history of Mississippi, there's a lot of incidents. One, Emmett Till, right? That took place there. You guys know his story, 15-year-old, and was dealt with by the Klan, if you will, due to allegedly whistling to a white woman, Carolyn Bryant, who went on to glory a couple years ago. She said she did it, but then she said she didn't say she did it. Nevertheless, he was dealt with horribly. And again, there's certain things I just can't say on this platform. And so when we deny color, we deny history, and we don't teach history to our children. We don't say, hey, while maybe they're not doing that like they used to, they're still doing it. Just keep it a buck, okay? But it does happen. And for example, and I've been saying this all week, we, especially as Black folks here in America, are told, oh, that was so long ago. You're not slaves anymore. Oh, get over it, right? But we never think about the other side of that, where I'm going to say allegedly, okay, strongly, that they are teaching their children of what they used to do in the heyday. Oh, son, we used to get us one. You're not really, walking into manhood, and let's say, in some cases, white manhood, unless you really just get you one. Okay, y'all know what I mean. Okay, yeah, it just does something to you. It's a rite of passage in a way, right? So when we hear all of these stories about these our people, and you know how many Black men, especially, are still missing right now, that just recently missing, and they don't know where they are, especially in the South. So while they're telling their children of the things that they used to do and potentially teaching them the things they used to do to us, what are we doing? Not all of us, but I don't see color. Oh, and again, I'm not trying to disparage young Nolan at all. It's not necessarily to him. It's just something that stuck out to me. I don't see color. But again, when you don't see color, you erase history. And we, especially as Black Americans, we should not forget our history. Now, I want to say the things that they have done to us is not necessarily our history. It's American history. I don't care what nobody says. They can take all the books out the school. They can remove all the museums they want, and there still will be American history of the original sin of what they did to Black folks here in America. So we have to unlearn, I don't see color. Because also that was something that we were conditioned from the plantation, right? And even though, again, they saw color. In 2026, people see color, okay? You can go all on the internet and you'll see a police officer harassing a Black boy walking home. And he'll have to say, hey, I'm a minor. And they don't care. They still handcuff him, rough him up, traumatize him simply because he's Black. I saw a video of a kid who was walking with a hoodie on, and a police officer, which doesn't sound like he was really a police officer, but he goes and he commandeers the kid. And then, he has to call his parents because he's like, oh, well, it's too hot for you to be wearing a hoodie, so you look suspicious. So people still see color, but we don't see color because we're told those days are over with. So I feel, now maybe just my opinion, maybe I'm wishful thinking here, perhaps if young Nolan and even Mr. Bird, y'all know James Bird, you knew of him anyway, you heard the story. Perhaps if these people, and a lot of us, can't say collectively, were taught to see color, then our spidey senses will go off and say, I don't think I'm going to go on the island with you just by myself, because there's a lot of people I've seen that is from that area who are white. They said, something tells me that Nolan was probably one of the only Black people on that island, because it sounds like it's kind of some place or thing that white people go engage in. So they said that, yeah, he was probably in danger for whatever reason or another. Now, James Bird here, of course, y'all heard the story in 1998, Jasper, Texas. He accepted a ride from somebody he was acquainted with. He knew him around town and things like that. And so he was getting a ride home. Well, the three individuals that gave him the ride home, which they didn't, right? They decided that they would take him. I'll try to explain this as much as I can without getting in trouble on here. But they took him to a secluded place and just tortured him to no end. And after they did that, they decided to chain him, if you will, to the back of a pickup truck and dragged him for a while. We'll say it that way. And they said as he was being dragged, forensically speaking, they could tell that he was trying to hold his head up because, I'm being dragged here. And they said he was alive probably through a good amount of it as he was being dragged. And eventually he dropped his head, and they found his head over here, and they found 81 other pieces of his body strewn throughout the area that they dragged him behind that pickup truck. Now they found the culprit because, for one dropped his lighter with his name on it, you big dummy, right? And so it is said that those three particular people were involved in some sort of Klan, white supremacist group or whatever. And so from that point, two of them have gone on to or down to wherever they need to go because they were sentenced to death. And then one of them was sentenced to life. Okay. Now I bring up James Bird because he had no idea. He thought he was amongst people who weren't at least going to harm him. Right. But just imagine you accept a ride home. And not only do they do that to you, but then they said they even his throat before they did all of that to him. So when you say, and I'm not saying he didn't say this, but when you say, I don't see color, you forget history. These things don't come to your mind like a Tamala Horsford. I'll never stop talking about Tamala. Y'all know she was the Black woman that was at the sleepover, the football mom sleepover, right? Y'all saw the picture. She's the only Black woman there. And then the next day they found her at the bottom of a balcony and said she had too much to drink and was doing some other stuff and she fell. When autopsy was like, yeah, no. Well, she did. They ruled it an accident and intoxication, but she was brutalized. And there was so much nefariousness going on with that case as well. So I'm saying when you say you don't see color, you also ignore history and you also ignore that racism is still very well alive today. Donovan?
Well, again, welcome you guys to the program. When we were growing up, there was always a saying that we had to be home before the lights were out. Did you guys ever wonder why our parents mandated that we be home before the lights went out as young black people? Because I remember my white friends, they didn't have to be home when the lights went out. But it was mandated that we had to be home when the lights got out. And I say that to say this. I was talking to my mom about this the other day. And my mom said when she was growing up as a country girl in New Roads, Louisiana, when she got older, she understood why her mom and aunts and elders were telling her to stay on the porch. You can't leave the yard. You can't do these things, because it's a very, very different world outside there. Now, for those of us that are from the South and have roots in the South, with the Klan running around looking for something to happen, that was a real thing. It isn't something you just read in the books. That is a real thing that actually happened. The danger is there. So as time has been going on, and I listen to young people, oh, you're so old. I have my nephew over here today. Oh, this old, that happened a long time ago. That isn't relevant. We were talking about college because he's getting ready to start college. And I gave him some advice, and I said, take your general studies first. Don't be like a lot of these idiots that think you're a freshman and you're going to be a doctor. You're going to take your core credits, and then as the years go by, you change your mind, and you still got to go back and do those general studies type stuff. How are you going to be 4 years into college and then you want to take freshman comp? Who going to do that? So talking to my nephew, he was saying stuff like, oh, that has no relevance today. Oh, it doesn't? So I hear a lot of Christians say this too. Oh, the Old Testament has no relevance today. I think in the Old Testament, it still has the 10 Commandments in there. So you're saying 10 Commandments have no reference. You're saying Leviticus, that tells you how to live, has no reference. All the stories in the Old Testament that proclaim the coming of Jesus Christ, that has no reference. I think it does. There's nothing new under the sun. And my mom keeps telling me that over and over and over again. A leopard does not change its spots. And here's something that I remember my mother always told me. Your little white friend, when it comes down to it, is not your friend. And I've never forgotten that. Even today, as people think I'm a Trump supporter and this, that, and this, that, you can call me whatever you want, and I'm not a Trump supporter. But notice, I still know that even though me and some of these white supremacists might agree on certain things, and when it comes to policy, those still ain't my friends. I'm not a member of the Republican Party. I'm not a member of the Democratic Party. 50-50 white people, right? So I want to read you this. And this is one thing I remember my mother told me a long time ago. And I reference my mom because I lost my father at 5 years old. So it isn't like I come from a single mother home or nothing like that. My mother was my primary parent. When we were kids, it says when we were kids, and when we're kids, it's okay, because you're just kids. But as white kids get older, they understand where they fit in the world and what their worth is in the world. So do we when we get older. Remember that same friend that we were playing in the yard and all this other stuff? When we start becoming teenagers and we start getting our little identities, we start formulating where we are in the world and what our position is in the world. And like Demetra said, it isn't beyond pale that white kids are specifically told who they are in the world and what their positions are. I don't believe, fundamentally, I do not believe all people are bad. I don't believe that. But I do fundamentally believe white people do tell their children who they are and what their position is in the world. Don't you bring that black woman home here. Don't you bring this over there. You're white. You're white. I had a friend, good neighbor of mine. And, white guy, people, you might call him a white supremacist, basically on his ideology, but he was proud to be a white man, and he made sure he told his kids their position in the world, even though he was married to a black woman. Doesn't make sense, but the point is, they tell their children their position in the world. And in our community, with all this liberalism and all this feminism, oh, we're all equal. We're this. No, we're not. Nothing has changed under the sun. Fundamentally, everything is still the same. Look at what's going on with this immigration stuff. Everybody wants to blame the black man, even though we have no power to stop TPS and what has been said and what has been ruled. I'm not surprised, and I really wish these super Christian people would wake the hell up and start telling their children the truth about the world we live in, not the world we want to be in, but the world we actually live in. And the world we actually live in is not the kumbaya world we strive to be. We're not there yet. And we're not going to be there for some generations. So let's hear what you guys got to say about this. Again, nothing new under the sun.
Yes, indeed. And I just want to clarify that Nolan did have black friends. He had a lot of black friends. I've seen a lot of videos and things like that. So he had, black friends and I guess white friends that particular day. He decided to go out on the boat with them. And his mom said it wasn't the first time that he's gone. He's gone like a time or two before. So he did have black friends. I want to say that. Mr. Norris, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says going out with white boys by myself in Mississippi. Oh, hell no. Says I ain't going nowhere with them folks. Parents should know that. They ain't changed. That's old school knowledge. Yeah. And somebody wanted to know, did he know about Emmett Till? I'd imagine he did, right? You would think, especially being in Mississippi. And Brother Samuel, I know that you are in Mississippi, so I know you and have heard a copious amount of stories because you've told me. Let's see. Tia, how you doing? Much love to you as well. Just kind of acknowledging everybody I haven't seen so far so I can catch up. Eddie, how you doing? Says he didn't see color because they raised him to live an illusion of color blind Mississippi. Well, they said that they felt like he was always too trusting and they kind of was trying to tell him as far as the didn't see color. We listen in 2026, especially, we cannot we should, as black folks here in America, we should never be talking about I don't see color because as I just illustrated, they see color. Not just them folks, but everybody else, they judge black folks by color. I just deleted a fool not too long ago behind some comment that he said. See, I quietly delete people. Y'all probably saw him, but that's the energy I'm on. So they see color. Common Man, how you doing? Says only idiots believe that whites in America don't see color. I blame that on the Democrat ideology. They made it up and the fools believed it. Well, I was not raised like that. Okay, I was always raised to see color because I know, and I was raised that they see color when they see me. So, and I raised my daughter that way as well. I was never that you can't help who you love, nonsense. Diesel Purge, how you doing? Says in order to get out of the horror movie is to delineate. Got to. Pandora, how you doing? Says being black in America. Yeah, see, and we got to continue to teach that. They have told us that it's hateful. Oh, it's hateful. Like Texas, they're trying to remove all the slave history, if you will, and then they want to focus on that the slaves were free. And it's like, if you're a dumb parent, if you go along with that, you could not teach that at school. I don't care if you teach about slavery at school, but guess what? We're going to teach at home. We're not going to teach all about, slaves being free because we know you should know the history of why our people were free. It's not because they loved us, right? Mark, how you doing? Says maybe in his his next lifetime. Well, I don't. Okay. Scatman says reparation, no income tax on first 400,000 of worldwide income. Okay, I can dig it. Charles, how you doing? Says I've had to attend a lot of work-related outings where I was the only black person there. I usually try to avoid events that revolve around drinking. Yep, go and do the work and then go back and then make sure people know your mama, your daddy, your granny, everybody know, hey, this is where I'm at. I'm with Bob, I'm with Larry, I'm with all these people, okay? Larry, how you doing? Says why black people don't see that they got the upper hand on white people in Mississippi if they just boycott sports to kill Mississippi economy. I agree with you. And that's the conversation that we are having is we have to abstain from their stuff. Okay. They're never going to like us. I don't care if they like us. I really don't. We have to get rid of that illusion of, oh, if I just do this, that, the other, then they'll like me. They'll never like you. Okay. It's 2026. Let's get real.
Hey, and real quick, how many of you guys know the worst race riot in the United States? Where did that take place? Anybody know?
Well, there were so many of them.
Well, the worst one that was on document was up in New York City, in the New York area during the Civil War when I think it was don't quote, I think it was the Civil War. But one of the worst my point is some of the worst race riots happened in the North. We already know what the South was about. But when the blacks migrated up north and started going up north, that's where you had some of the worst race riots ever. And let's go to recent history. One of the most fiercest racist presidents we have is not the one that has been sitting in the chair right now. It's the one before that. And why do I say that? How do you leave 530,000 Haitians and all your Black employees that worked in your administration uncovered and not give them some kind of form of status, legal status in the United States? Obama did it for the Dreamers. He gave them some kind of status. And then you left all Letitia James and all these other people without a pardon, knowing that Trump is going to come after them. And where was Joe Biden from? Delaware.
Oh yeah, of course. There's racism all throughout the United States. There was Jim Crow in the South, the East, the North, everywhere is Jim Crow. Okay.
And Demetria, you're from California. One of the racist states that we live is in California, because they don't do it abruptly in your face. They do it behind the scenes. Redlining and this, that, and that. But they'll smile in your face. A total Democratic state here, and Blacks ain't got nothing. Explain that.
Yeah, you it says user, but how you doing? On my end, it comes up weird for some reason. Yes, I mean, California, born and raised. I'm tell you right now, it's probably one of the most racist places, because not only are you dealing with racism from white folks, you're dealing with it from Latinos and Asians now, and anybody else who want to try to be racist against Black folks. So yeah, California is very, very, very racist, very. And I live not too far from where there was the Klan in Fontana. Everybody knows there was Klan in Fontana, you know. Amber,
wait, and real quick, that's Klan in Fontana. Where was the white Aryan nation formed at? Fallbrook.
Oh, the white. Okay, I thought you were talking about the Klan, the white Aryan nation. Yes.
Yeah. Fallbrook. Fallbrook Conference. The Turner Diaries was written in Fallbrook, California, the back gate of Camp Pendleton, California, Marine Corps base. You better believe it.
Yeah. Amber, how you doing? Says, if the roles were reversed, I truly feel someone would have already been arrested. These children did something to Nolan, praying for justice and for his family. Well, we're going to say allegedly, because they're investigating. Of course, they weren't really going to try to do that. They had already preliminarily said, it doesn't look like there's any foul play, but come on, man. How y'all saying there's no foul play, a day or so afterwards? Y'all ain't trying to do no turning over no stones or anything like that. So there's a lot of people that were there and things like that. It's like, well, I saw this and I heard that. And so it's like, why y'all got to have these people come out, y'all, and go, So like the judge said, there's a lot of things they could have done, at least to try to get the ball rolling. But, if you in like Flynn, then what can you do, right? Sagister, how you doing? Says, I have a question. You say FBA versus people who are considered Black society-wise, but from other countries. Is that where we don't see color comes in? Is it a cultural thing based off of where you live? So I guess what you're trying to ask is between FBA and other Black folks. Well, I see Black, right? We are Black. I think you talk about cultures. So FBA, Black Americans, right? That's a different culture that is based in America versus somebody who is Black that may be Caribbean or, from the continent. So that makes sense. So when we talk about color, we're talking about race, right? So if we're all Black, aren't we kind of the same race? Does that make sense? I don't want to confuse you. Arian, I'm gonna jack your name up, and I do apologize. So forgive me. Because see, y'all maybe can help me pronounce that. How you doing? It says, I'm so glad you and Donovan are discussing this topic. It says it brings awareness and may save lives. That you change your name. That's what that is. Well, how you doing? Okay, skipping on down so I could catch up. Rhonda, how you doing? It says Sundown Towns, America. Is a sundown town, right? Candy, what's going on with you? Says we have to be home before dark when the street lights came on. You better be in the house. Yes, indeed, Bill. Thank you so much for the donation. Love it. Appreciate you for that, as always. The separation is a must. Delineation is never going away, and it's killing me. He says we have to lose our FBA or Black from them folks. I never trust nobody. Yeah, and we should not, because I've heard these things as these are casualties of war or things like that. And we should not be having our children, anybody, have to suffer due to our ignorance. And I don't mean that to be demeaning, but to our ignorance and our refusal to see what it is here in America, right? There is no kumbaya. There is no getting along. It'd be nice. It's just not the way it is. but we have to stop and unlearn that I don't see color, right? Skipping down, you guys. Shalamaya, how you doing? Says Dave, Florida's a sundown town, so you talking to somebody else. Okay. Vanessa says this is so sad that we're constantly talking about Black babies dying under mysterious quote unquote circumstances when we know it's nowhere mysterious, right? But see, if this did not get the attention that it got, they would have just like they've done the other ones, right? They're like, they did it to themselves. Like, stop it. That's probably one of the last things you're gonna do to yourself if you don't want to be here anymore. You know, Southern Lady Brown, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Let's see, Jersey Rick in the building. Nick at night, how you doing? Melissa, you say we heard a known female preacher saying she didn't see color. She sees the spirit first. Please tell your Caribbean families this would have caught us too. We in Jamaica singing One Love, One Heart. Yeah. Again, ideally speaking, maybe in utopia somewhere that would be the case. It's just not the case. But again, as I always try to challenge people, especially some of the conversations I have, stop telling Black Americans, and I'm not saying this to you, I'm just saying to us, stop telling Black Americans that, it's not the way it is. You need to get along with everybody else. And it's your job to extend the olive branch of love. Black Americans have extended the olive branch of love to everybody, and they've kicked it back in our face. And so now we're really starting to have the delineation conversation separating. Again, it's not supposed to be delineation because we hate everybody else. It's because we're finally really starting to love ourselves. Philip, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And Tiffany says, my father, he says, and his brother fled Georgia in the late 1960s because they were still Black men. There were no jobs and education was horrible. Yes. And so a lot of people went to the north, right? Or to the west. And Philip says the Bible is fake and Jesus is not real. Okay. Carlette, what's going on with you? It says my parents stressed that we had to be home before the street lights came on. My mom also said I need to meet parents before you go over there. Yes, you got to meet parents. And Common Man, once again, how you doing? Vicky, what's going on with you? Imhotep, what's going on? He says that happened a long time ago, quote unquote, evidence that people do not read history. It's quite problematic with the Black community because we want to live in illusion that it's not that way anymore, right? It's kind of just that rocking us back to sleep that we're all good. Brooklyn, Virginia, I think that's what it is. How you doing? It says you voted for him. You must have been talking to Donovan, voted for Trump. Even if he did vote for Trump, so what? What does that got to do with the conversation that we have now? There's been racism in this country under Trump, not under Trump. There's been racism since we were put on those plantations. So what difference does it make who he voted for? If he voted for Pet Rock, what is that going to do for this conversation right now?
And I voted for him, and he did exactly what I wanted him to do. He getting these illegals up out of here. Exactly. I voted for him because the Democrats weren't going to do it. So who am I supposed to vote for if that's my interest?
Brian, how you doing? Says me and the white supremacists might agree on certain things when it comes to policy is crazy. Well, I mean, that's kind of been the way it's been throughout history, right? Marcus Garvey, he met with the Klan not because he agreed with it, right? Malcolm X, I believe, don't quote me, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did, and so on and so forth. The Black Panthers, they sat down with the Klan not because they agreed. They agreed that the government, right, was the enemy of everybody. So, so that's not a way off statement there. You know what I mean? Carrie, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says not just the Deep South, it's the U.S. Yep. The Eagle has landed. How you doing? Says once I had a white woman exit the freeway and asked me to get her car to give her instructions on the location of some place. I told her I can't do that, right? Okay, because that one place might be the last place you go. So yeah, why tell her how you doing? Says yes, I had to be in before the street lights came on, and my parents was from the South, Mississippi and Tennessee. Yeah, it seemed like to me I'd have been moved up out of Mississippi, right? Dorothy, did I say hi to you? Not hello. D. Ernest, I'll get your comment next. She says, Dorothy, they have a perpetual hatred for us. It's never going to change. Unfortunately, our people refuse to heed the word and reject who they truly are. Shaking my head, and we reject who we are, right? And D. Ernest says, I think the history of white brutality of Black people, but by far, he said, but far beyond just how they ravage Black bodies from men, women, and children is chilling. If you only study history, right? But a lot of people won't, D. Ernest. They just think, oh, that was yesterday. Let me go out to sundown towns and just hang out. No. Buckhorse says, just because I work around the white man don't mean he invited to the cookout. Come on now. Come on. is private. He says acquaintances and associates, those people were not his friends. Clearly, if they, or are found to have done something to him. Albie Chill, did I say hi to you? If not, hello. He says Tango down. What? Al says if they had his phone and he was on another boat, why would he even leave without it? Well, that's what his parents are saying. There's no way he would have left without his phone. And again, they had to find the phone. They made it seem like the friends took them the phone and said, hey, we don't know where he is, but here's his phone. No, they had to track the phone. And they said the phone was just pinging in different places. So it's all really just a mystery, but they had to go get the phone. And they never told them what happened at all. So, yeah. Let's see who else is in the chat that I did not see. D-Toppy says, melanin extracted people are in rude awakening. Judgment Day is coming soon. Yes. And listen, I don't know if y'all have heard of the passing of Senator Lindsey Graham. That was kind of unexpected. And listen, I just felt the need to say that something about judgment. He is one of the most horrible, evil dudes walking the planet, very racist from the dirty South, right? Was very vehement about needing to get rid of Palestine altogether. Just love Trump, even though he hated him, said he was the worst thing that could ever happen to America and a whole bunch of other things. And he ended up having a heart attack. And they said Trump was probably the last person to talk to him because Trump said so himself.
Yeah, and his father had a heart attack at a young age as well. And then your boy,
Mitch, was 71.
Yeah, his father had a heart attack at like 68 or 69 or something like that. But your boy, Mitch McConnell, proof of life, they're still wondering about that. So let's get this right. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to this real quick, off topic. Lindsey Graham is a senator from South Carolina. It seems to me there's going to be a seat open for the Senate. Now, a governor can appoint a temporary person to fill that seat, but I think because Lindsey Graham is running this cycle, so he was running. He just ran through the primary or his thing initially. He won his little primary, whatever the deal is. So Clyburn, if he's bootlicking enough, he could be appointed to that seat. If he wanted to be a senator, he could be appointed to that seat. And also Mitch McConnell, proof of life. So let's get this straight. There are 2 Republican seats in the Senate that are now in play. Let's see if the Democrats get them.
It remains to be seen. Yeah, Mitch McConnell, they said that he may or may not still be with us. He might have gone to the lower room. Brother Samuel says, I saw a video circulated of him, Nolan, at a pool party that is said to be made after they return. Have you seen that? I heard about it. Yes, that may have been the case. So it's like, how can you say there doesn't seem to be any foul play involved when clearly there's something going on here, right? So they're, again, waiting for the results of the autopsy to see exactly what happened to him, because, Mississippi, they were going to do an autopsy and say, we don't see nothing, right? Knows what's going on. It says lumping by color is not right. No, I agree. It is not right, but it's just American as apple pie to lump people by color. That's just, we didn't come up with the rules here in America. Black folks here in America, we didn't come up with the rules. That's what it is. You see people by color, okay? Race, right? If you want to just really be technical. You see people by race, and people judge. They have prejudices, right? And things like that about other races. And so to go out blindly, I don't know, and say, I don't see race, especially when you're in that type of environment, you kind of, what are the odds? Like I said, I'm in public relations. And one of the questions or things we delve in is foreseeability. As I said, what will happen if I go off with, just me? With a boat full of them. And we know the history of Black folks in America coming to America on boats with them people ain't very good anyway. So I have to foresee what may happen if I take my Black self on a boat or anywhere where I am the only one. Come on now. We've seen this even in recent histories of that not being favorable. So we have to think along those lines. Is this a conducive situation for me? Okay, I'm in Mississippi. They want to go off to an island that's takes a 12-mile boat ride, where it's probably most of them in a predominantly surrounded, right, by a predominantly white area, and I'm gonna take my brown self out the hell no. You be mad if you want to. I don't care. I don't care about your feelings. What I care about is what you may be doing to me out there, and you're gonna come back and say, I don't know what happened to her.
But isn't that crazy? Because even when we go to settings, when you ever go to some place where you're the only black person, then you see the other black person, and then you guys gravitate to each other. You guys know nothing about each other, but you gravitate and you stick together, like in an orientation or something. It is just something that is psycho-programmed in our DNA. That I don't know if the new moms are not teaching that to their kids because they're delusional. But I know, Demetra, when we were coming up, if you saw the other black person in there, you gravitated to that other black person and you kind of hung together.
You better believe it, right? And let's see, skipping down, who haven't I seen so far? Just want to make sure I get everybody at least once, right? Carrie says, how many going to be deleted before our people wake up? And that is the sad question. When are we going to unkumbaya ourselves, right? And get in reality and say, this is what we're dealing with. We didn't build the structure of this company, the country rather. The structure of the country was built on us, right? To keep us a permanent underclass, to keep us at the bottom, keep us this, that, and the other. So we know that now, okay? Like I said, and I hate to keep saying it's 2026, but it is, because we are in the age of knowing. You should anyway, right? I'm not saying that you don't be friendly. Malcolm X asked us to ponder, are they friendly or are they just your friends? But he was talking about the Democrats, right? But you can, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has also posed that, are they friendly or are they your friends? Because friendly means, hey, how you doing? Hey, neighbor, you good? Oh, okay. And friends is like, we're going to go out on a boat together on the 4th of July. And hey, those clearly was just, let's say, just pretend that they didn't do nothing to him. Let's pretend that. Wouldn't a friend at least say, hey, Ma, we don't know, he didn't come back with us. We don't know where he is. Here's his phone. And, we want to do all we can, but they got lawyers, scrub their pages. It's like, if that was a friend who didn't do nothing to you, would you really do that? Probably not, right? So those were never his friends. They guess pretended to be. Miss Tay, how you doing? Since they had nasty race riots in Chicago, they had them everywhere, okay?
Yeah, but there was a lot of, in the modern age, there was a lot of race riots in the North. That's why, I'm just reinforcing, we keep focusing on how bad the South is. The one thing I say about the South, they're proud of who they are and what they stand for. They are proud of that. It's when you get up to the North and you think, okay, these people are liberals. They were the Republicans. They're in the Democratic Party. Martin Luther King had a brick thrown at his head in Illinois trying to integrate public housing up there. How many of you guys remember that? Just almost close to the end of his life. A brick was thrown at him in Democratic Illinois. So the North is, to me, probably worse in my opinion than the South.
Yeah, covert, overt. Kimberly, how you doing? Says, well, if liberal states you speak of are so bad, move to the deep South and try them out. We have to live somewhere. Is basically process of elimination. The liberal states are pretty bad. I mean, the United States are bad, but liberal states, the blue states, democratically ran states, cities, whatever, they're pretty bad, especially for Black Americans, because they practice, they all do, but I'm saying specifically the Democrats, because we vote for the Democrats the most, but they practice benign neglect, knowing that we have issues, but they jump over us or sidestep us, and they go help everybody else like illegal immigrants. That's what the Democratic Party is doing right now. And specifically, the Black Democrats, they're doing it, we vote for them the most. So just want to keep that in mind. Let's see. GS, what's going on? Says, notice how quiet it then it got since it was supposed to come out with the autopsy. Yeah, well, they didn't know that they were going to get a separate one. I tell everybody, make sure something happened to your loved one and you got your eyebrows raised. Yeah, get an independent autopsy. No, it's not cheap. But, try to figure out a way to do it. Otherwise, they'll bury your loved one and say, oops, it was an accident, right? Let's see, just skipping down, y'all. I don't know why my power went out, but thank God I got a generator on my computer, right? Zai, Micah, how you doing?
Backup battery generator. You're so old. You're so old.
Whatever. It's keeping my computer on, okay? Zaha Micah, he says, I remember a brother I used to work with. He told me he had to pew pew his way out of Montgomery, Alabama because of them folks. Yeah, people got stories. It's crazy. That stuff hasn't gone away. It just kind of gone underground. And some argue that it's come on, above ground. Jazz,
yeah, and people need to remember the Klan is what to the Democratic Party. How many of you guys understand what the Klan represents? They are the military arm of the Democratic Party. That is a fact. And they have not been designated a terrorist organization or anything of that nature. I wonder why. They are the military arm of the Democratic Party that still exists today. And as we have found out recently, they have been being funded with your tax dollars. Democrats funding money to the Klan with your tax dollars. So there you have it.
Yep, was a Southern Law Poverty something center, whatever it is. Yeah, CIA target. How you doing? Says, why are black people obsessed with skin color? First of all, Nolan was only half black. He's also Asian. That's what makes him stand out. Well, he was a quarter Asian. His mother is Asian and black, and his daddy is fully black. So yes, his mother being Filipino, from what I understand. So he says, why are black people obsessed with skin color? Stop playing with me, because I really feel like blocking people today. But I'm really not gonna do that. Black people obsessed with color. You think it's black? Every time a white person open their mouth, they especially about let somebody do a certain crime without knowing who it is. Oh, it's the usual suspect. Oh, the blacks or whatever it is, right? And ignoring the stuff that white folks do, right? But when it's white people, oh, well, why is it all white people? So stop playing with me, for real.
And see, you're in the United States of America. In this country, we go by the 5 colors: red, black, white, yellow, and brown. Those are the 5 colors in this country. I don't know where you're from, or where, these immigrants that come here that don't understand the history of the United States. If you're an immigrant here and you come from a country where everybody that's in control and robbing you blind looks like you've got to understand how America operates. And see, that's what gets me about a lot of these immigrants. Not all of them, but a lot of them. They don't want to understand how racism works here in the United States. In the United States, you have 1 drop of black blood, you are considered black. That is how it is, period. Understand how this country operates. If you got 1 trace of black blood, you are considered black in this country. That's it.
Right. And then, God forbid if they did something to them, I'm quite sure they didn't say, well, you got a drop of Asian and you were going to, come on, get back on the boat. Let's go. Yeah, it's utopia, African native utopia. I mean, it just is. That's not the world we live in, though. Jay Shaw, how you doing? Black first. Just skipping down. Paul, what's going on? Says, absolutely, I agree. Patty Brown in town, what's going on? Hope you're having a great day. Brother Sammy says, Malcolm said a person without knowledge of his history is doomed to repeat it. Yep. And here we are. Okay. Because again, we want to suppress things. I just want to move on. I want to just pretend that, everything's good. Since Barack Obama was nominated as the first black president, racism is a thing of the past. How can we be racist? With the people who are saying that the white supremacists know damn well they didn't vote for no Barack Obama. In fact, many argue that racism got worse with the election of the first black president. But again, going back to the original point, a lot of them say, oh, racism is over. We gave y'all a black president. It's like, if you don't, right? So yeah, we cannot ever think that. Facts, not feelings. How you doing? He says, peace and love, family. Those who don't see color are trying to integrate into whiteness free of charge. Whiteness, he says, whites rather, will not give you their privilege free of charge. It will cost you either your dignity or your life. You better tell them. Tia to you, says Pete Rock for president. I'm with Pet Rock. I said Pete Rock. And CL Smooth for vice president. Pet Rock. Yeah. If you voted for Pet Rock, that's your business, right? You only get 1 vote. I understand why people be so worried about how other people voted. Like, what you gonna do? He voted for Trump. What are you gonna do about it? Nothing. Okay. If you have that kind of power, let's use it to help our people. Jimbo Slice, what's going on? Says, get the F out. The only way forward is together. We need each other. I didn't say that we didn't need each other, right? I think Black Americans realize that more than anything. But I think a lot of us have just woken up to, well, y'all don't, the together, right? The other equation of the together, whatever it is, you don't want that. Whether it's the brown, whether it's our brothers and sisters, I call them our brothers and sisters, right? From the continent, the Caribbean, or wherever else, right? They don't want that. So what are we supposed to do? We can't make the other equation want that. Help me out. Aboriginal Copper, what's going on? Says, unfortunately, for blacks that claim they don't see color, unfortunately, they're always reminded that it exists. And when they're reminded, it's like, ooh. Text for what's going on, long time no see. Says Nolan's attitude comes from the mother. The mom is from that area, and she and that judge know each other from high school, and the mom is half Asian, and Nolan grandmom is Asian. Yes, that's what I heard. I heard that's a kind of a tight-knit community there. So Antonio was going on, says, have no fear. Oh, yeah, I am here. All right now. Okay. Arthur Jones was going on, says, I voted for Trump also. Well, there you go. And that's your right to do that. You know,
hey, real quick, do us a favor, you guys, hit that like button so we can get this conversation into the algorithm. We really would appreciate it. If you guys want to help Demetra out, because she's going to be up early tomorrow morning, and with a good cup of coffee, you know, she's become a coffee connoisseur. So we got to get her to have these great conversations going. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. Get it on Google Play, Apple Store, less than $10 a month. I think that's very, very reasonable. And again, you'll get good information, good videos from the Emancipation Channel, the AI Wire, Demetra K, Wongel, Brother Phil Scott, Vicki Dillard, and the whole African Diaspora News Channel crew. Go ahead and hit that like button, share, like on your pages, and subscribe.
Thank you for that. Boxing says, you two support racist Trump. You don't know who I supported, but if I did, what you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? What, you gonna uninvite me to dinner? What are you gonna do? I want to know.
I'm not hiding that I voted for Trump, and he's getting these illegals up out of here, which is a very big threat to the black community. So, why would I be afraid to say who I voted for? I voted for Trump, and who did you vote for?
Right, Mama Deb was good. Thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. I do. Thank you so much. Okay, going down. Who else haven't I seen? Manuel, how you doing? Say facts. Let's see. Patrick, how you doing? Says these guys are ancient and dying in the seats. Retire. Ain't that crazy? Like, that's a conversation that needs to be had. Like, they are literally, Patrick, they are going up or down, wherever, in the seat. And then
my cold dead hands.
Yeah, but it's like, what's her name? Frederica Wilson, I think. She finally came out and said she wasn't running. They didn't even know where she was. I ain't seen her in months. Some other people, some other dude, he wasn't that old, but he missed it for 4 months, talking about, I was having depression. It's like, you wasn't going to show up to work, right? Mitch McConnell, they say he may or may not be on life support. Lindsey Graham, he was literally came back from somewhere, was about to go somewhere else. He had a heart attack or whatever. So I know, and me and my daughter was talking about this. It's, they call it ageism, but we have had a conversation. It's selfish, is what it is.
Matter of fact, in this congressional cycle, I think it was like 5 to 7 Democrats died in office. 5 to 7 of them.
You had Sheila Jackson Lee, Sylvester Turner, and God knows how many other people. Right now, with just one seat, they just boop. Now there's a younger cat in there, Christian Menifee. He's out romping and stomping for illegal immigration as we speak. But yeah, he's a younger guy. I think he might be 40. So, who knows? Yeah, the lower room. Let's see. Yes, Common Man says, I need to see the autopsy. Oh, for sure. Yeah, we need to see exactly what's going on. JJ says, Bojangle Clyburn. Come on now. James Clyburn, no matter how well he tap dances, won't make it. And he like 85 or something like that. He running again. Mr. South Carolina, he says, even white cadets who attend the Citadel had to be indoors in areas of Charleston, South Carolina during the 60s and 70s. Okay. And Zachariah, thank you so much for the super sticker. Love it. Appreciate you for that.
See, and I just want to add something about, who we vote for, and if you voted for Trump or if you didn't. It doesn't matter if you voted for Trump or you didn't. Here's one thing I do know, and Demetra, you might disagree with me. One thing I do know, if Kamala had got back into office, we wouldn't be having these conversations about race. We would have this conversation about race, but the borders would be busted wide open. They would be busted wide open. As you see these Haitians and people have to be deported. Do you guys want more competition for your children, or would you like less? When you go to a job interview, do you want to compete against 1,000 people, or do you want to compete against 10? That's the question you got to ask yourself. And if Kamala had got back in office, your neighborhoods, like my neighborhood right now, is being overran with immigrants that are coming here that do not want to assimilate. And I post violence that is happening in my neighborhood every week. And that's what would have happened if Kamala had got into office. And guess where they're sending these immigrants? They're not sending them to the white neighborhoods. When they send up to Martha's Vineyards, a Democratic stronghold where the Democratic rich live, those immigrants didn't last a week up there before they shipped them out. They're sending them into the black neighborhoods. And when they send them into the black neighborhoods, what happens? We get pushed out by gentrification.
Yeah. Scoop, thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. Says they don't see race, but they see it enough to know who to oppress. Prove me wrong. You have 100% right. Again, we have to unlearn. We don't see race or we don't see color, right? Rohan was going on, says Graham, the war hawk responsible for a lot of death. Hope he's down there begging to get into hell. You crazy. But yeah, he definitely was a war hawk. Definitely so. And he was unapologetic about destroying Palestine. Very unapologetic. I mean, he just evil. But you know what? When because I just happened to be up at night and that I just saw it coming across my timeline.
Yeah, I saw it coming across the timeline. I think he was coming from Ukraine or someplace. Yeah, he was coming from someplace.
Yeah, and then I thought, you know what? I hate to say this, you're gonna start to see more of that because you cannot be evil and think you're gonna make it. It doesn't work that way. And as has always been said, and I like to say, you cannot out legislate the will of God. That's why I said if people knew that you would get what you put out back, you would move accordingly. You would be more of a decent person. Like I said, my motto is I wake up, I don't want to do nobody no harm intentionally. If I do it, it's definitely unintentional. And I want to make sure that I make it right or apologize, whatever it is. But there's a lot of people, whether you in politics or you, whoever, wake up and intentionally harm people. And then they never think that I'm going to get that back. And see, usually when you get it back, you wonder, wow, what did I do? Oh, you just sit and think for a minute. I'm sure you can think of some, right? But when I heard that he had passed away, I was like, well, that jives, because it doesn't sound like he was unhealthy. He was just at Disneyland with a bubble wand, right? Like a fairy. You do what you want to do with that. He literally had a wand at Disneyland running around. Like, what is a grown man doing with a fairy wand? Anyway,
real quick, Angela Destiny says this. I disagree. Trump is tearing this country apart with blatant anti-Black racism. Housing crisis, food crisis, homelessness. Harris would not have condoned this. Well, Angela, I respect your saying there, but wasn't there racism before Trump even took office in the country? Anti-Black racism? I think there was. And as far as housing crisis, wasn't there a housing crisis before Donald Trump took office? There's over 1 million veterans sitting on the streets right now, Black, white, Asian, Latino, you name it. 1 million veterans alone, much less Americans. So how did Donald Trump have to do with that? And as far as food crisis and housing crisis, here's the problem with that. And this is why I say I disagree with you. I'm not saying what you're saying is not valid, but you got to understand economics. The more people you have flooding into an area is the bigger the demand. That's the basic economic hand. So if you have more people in the country that need housing, the prices go up, the food goes up, the gas goes up. That's how it works. The less people you have, the less of a demand, the prices come down. See, and I'm not saying, anything because you're a longtime supporter of ours, but a lot of people don't take that into consideration, basic economics. A president does not control the economy. They can influence the economy, but they can't control it. When you let 27 million immigrants into the country and we didn't have the housing was already suppressed to begin with, how is any president going to control that?
Thank you so much for that, LL24. I love it. Appreciate you for that. Says, do y'all think this could be a chance South Carolina could get someone in the Senate that actually care about Black folks since they make up 24 to 25% of the state's population? Well, they have James Clyburn there in South Carolina. He's been there since the 90s. And he says he cares. Well, he doesn't even say he cares about. Well, he gives us a fish fry, if you live in South Carolina. But I don't think so. No.
No, it is alleged that Clyburn also colluded to get rid of the other Black representatives that were there so that his district doesn't get realigned. And that was years ago. And no. When you've got the so-called number 3 Democrat in the party, and he has the worst district in the nation, do you actually think they're going to get good Black representation? This guy's the number 3 guy. And he's still over a very, very bad district. So his influence, his power has not benefited his constituents. I don't think so.
Yeah. So, yeah, Corey says the problem, these new generation of parents and young people are too trusting people. And it's not even just the new generation, it's the old ones too. It's everybody. I think, we don't trust our gut type of thing, or just, at least educate our children on just life in general, right? Common sense. We need a common sense class or critical thinking, something, what's it going to cost me if I do A, B, C, and D type thing, right? Brother Don, he says, come out from among them and be ye separate. Absolutely. Let's see, skipping down. Okay. Anti-social engineering. I'll entertain your question. He says, are you guys listening? Are you going to keep being cursed? Yah is the name of the Father of eternity. He's no God. He's not Jesus. He can't be found in religion. Dare I say this? Okay, you've said it. And okay. Honey the Key, he says their racism is paying off and exposing them. Yeah, I mean, like I said, and I'm just repeating what I've learned. You can only do so much before it catches up to you, right? It may take several hundred years. It may take several minutes, right? But you got to get what you put out. It's just the way it works. Again, a lot of people who claim to be Christians and they read the Bible and stuff, it's like, well, what part of the Bible are you reading, or what part are you skipping over? Because it says that you're supposed to be a good human. So what about some of the things that have done around the world to people in the name of Jesus? Is that good? Where does it say in the Bible you're supposed to do any of that stuff? So they don't really believe that. Danny, he says, first mistake for any FBA youth or elder is not to acknowledge race. It's America as apple pie, and my favorite bean pie. Okay, and your favorite is bean pie. I love bean pie too. I wish you could find me one. Just skipping down, y'all. I do see a comment. Deborah, how you doing? Says, I think that girl he was with was the trigger. I bet that it was. It could have been because she seems like she's white from what I can see. In the South, that's another thing too. I don't know. I don't understand why people don't educate their children, especially your Black children, especially your Black boys. Now you go, as they used to say back in the day, you going around with that white girl. There's a lot of people who ain't gonna like that, and we know. I mean, hell, Emmett Till, that was in the 50s, right? But that is allegedly why he was taken up out of here, because he whistled at a white woman, is what they say, right? Especially in the South, but I don't know. I just find that to be kind of weird.
K. Marie 7900 says, if they had nothing to do with Nolan's demise, they had everything to gain from posting tributes and his final photos. Deleting their pages and hiding makes no sense.
All it does, if you got something to hide, right? If you're trying to go off the grid, and I just think people who do those type of things allegedly, right? We don't know that they did, but I'm just saying allegedly, they just think, oh, we'll get rid of it. Mama's a judge. Daddy's at this. My uncles are that. Well, we've done it before. Listen, if they did something to him, don't y'all ever think that this was a first time. It's not a one-off. This is not a one-off. It's not.
Demetra, what was that movie where the Black guy went there to this place and it's the name of a movie, but by one of the Peel and whatever his name is.
Oh, Get Out.
Get Out. I mean, you guys, maybe it's just me. I do believe there's some truth in storytelling when they bring movies like that out. I believe, and this is just me, that young man regardless, whatever the facts may be, he was ritually sacrificed. I believe that. I actually believe, like you said, Demetra, it's a rite of passage for some of these devils to do what they need to do. It's just, I mean, how else can you explain it?
I mean, it wouldn't be unusual, right? Again, we were rocked back to sleep, and thank you, Derry. I appreciate that. It gives me incentive to continue working harder. Uh, we got rocked back to sleep as Black folks here in America. Civil rights, integration, right? Segregation is over. We've made it. So we got rocked back to sleep and thinking that, okay, racism is over. We could go and live amongst people who do not want to live amongst us. We forced our way into the schools, and we did, right? Ruby Bridges, the Central, I always get it wrong, but y'all know in Arkansas, there, the 9 students who went to the high school, whatever, Little Rock 9. We thought that we made it and things were better now, but it wasn't better. We know white flight took place. We know a whole bunch of other things took place. We knew that our marriage rate went down. At one point in time, Black folks here in America were married more than any other people. Of course, we got disjointed from our man and our woman. Our money left our neighborhood because that's what civil rights was about. It wasn't about integrating rather Black and white together. It was about integrating the Black dollars into the white economy. Is just a fact. Again, we were rocked back to sleep, and we are now waking back up. And don't you ever forget to, every time we wake back up, they drop something off in our community, whether it's crack, mass incarceration, you name it. They try to destabilize us from waking back up. And I say this all the time. I don't care what nobody says. Kamala would have been the NyQuil for the Negroes. Okay. She would have rocked Black people back into a coma because we would have thought, oh, we got the joy and vibes. Everything is good. We got a Black president. I'm not going to argue about that with y'all. Okay. But I'm just telling you what the idea was. We got another Black president, and Kamala, she loves us so much. But see, Kamala would have just been a different party in the White House. Like I said, I read her book, and I'm going to tell you, and a lot of the stuff that I extrapolated, if you will, from the book came out in the DNC autopsy. Okay. That for once she was sabotaged, but she wasn't going to be any different than Trump, because the same people that got a key in Trump's back would have put a key in her back. And she said that I will always support Israel's right to defend themselves. So you wouldn't have got a different person. Kamala has already told Black folks, no, I'm not going to do nothing specifically for you because you're Black. She's already told you that. So for people to think that, and it's like, I'm trying to form this in words, but why do we got to keep getting bumped over the head before we realize, okay, maybe I need to stop doing that, because damn, Obama got in office not once but twice and didn't do a damn thing for Black folks. In fact, many argue that things got worse for Black people. And then we're going to turn around again and say, let's put this Black woman into the White House because this time it's going to be different. No, it wasn't. It wasn't going to be different. In fact, if you don't believe me, look at all the money Kamala got, over $1 billion. Some people say maybe it was $2 billion, right? The Black organizations, whether they're Black media, whatever it is, they got a drop in the bucket. And she gave mostly white PR firms, campaign firms, and all these other things. They got the lion's share of all that money, that record-breaking money that was raised. And then you hear people like Roland Martin and different people, oh, well, we only got that. And she gave all this. So, but those are the same people, though, who will tell you that Kamala would have been better, and she kicked them off square off in their butt, kicked their drawers all the way up their butt before she got in the White House. And they talk about she didn't give us enough money, but she would have been a better choice. So she treating you as a Black, whatever it is, bad. Now you think if she got in the White House, she's going to treat you better? No. So we just need to wake up. Lorenzo, how you doing? Says, wake up. I should read your comment. People, let the truth be told and seen. Absolutely. Moving on down. I see all your comments, but there's so many of y'all. Scoops, thank you once again. Says, never let your oppressors tell you what you should do to be a good Black. Right. But that's what we were told, right? If you just do A, B, C, and D, you are considered a credit to the race. And we had some of the Boulay class, right, that felt like if you weren't a credit to the race, then they also participated in eugenics, the Negro Project. A lot of them in the NAACP, they believe in that. We need to make sure that people who are credit to the race make it, right? So they believe in sterilization and all those other things. It was a black boule. You look it up. So yeah, you're right. There was this idea of a good black, but as far as white supremacy is concerned, there is no such thing as a good black. They only have one in mind. I won't say it on here though. Going down, Zechariah says the white supremacists have delineated and separated a long time ago, and they're not under orders by God to do so. Us freemen, Americans, or they have. Every time we talk about doing it, many people get in an uproar. Why would you want to do? We're the human race. Why would you want to do that? It's like, stop playing with us, Kay. We've seen how this getting together has worked out. It hasn't, you know. And the Roots Tracker, what's going on with you? Says, I voted for that orange man too for deportation. So yeah, there's some people who's like, I don't love everything that Trump was doing, but I do like this, that, or this, right? That's what you're supposed to do. Vote for something. And if that person delivers or whatever it is, but I like to see, for those who think that we should have, I didn't vote for Kamala. Okay. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. Those who should have voted for Kamala, or those, that voted for Obama. I mean, what did Obama do? What did you get from Obama as a black American? And what did you get from Obama? And I'm talking about specifics. Don't give me that, because I see people with these laundry lists. Oh, it was this, that, that's like that includes everybody. I'm talking about specifically, because he said he wasn't going to be able to do nothing for black Americans, especially reparations, because he didn't want to make white people mad. And I could back that up if you don't believe me. I could show you where he said that himself.
Yeah, real quick. Rhonda Davis, B4Y, says, no political party is for us. And I agree with that until we form our own. But here's the problem, Rhonda, and we've got to be realistic. That's what I'm saying. We are so optimistic, but this isn't where we're at, you guys. You guys have got to understand, California was the blueprint. Do you guys, Rhonda, I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's 6% of black people and leaving California because of gentrification. Even if every black person in the state of California voted, it would not matter. And then now that you've let 27 illegal immigrants into the country, or immigrants, because some of them got status, into the country, black people, FBAs, could not have enough sex and have enough babies to make a difference. Our political voice has been wiped out. And it's just a matter of time before the other end of it is the immigrants. 350,000 Haitians, 150 of them are sitting right there in Miami, in that area down there. So if those people had status, what do you think, and how do you think they would be voting? Look at the CBC right now. A lot of those CBC members are first and second generation Americans. And look at what they prioritize: immigration and bringing more of their people to this country. So as an FBA, I agree with you. We should have our own political party, but it's not going to happen because we don't have the numbers. That's the reality of the situation. We just do not have the numbers. But what we can be is spoilers. We can do that. So if just like right now, the Democrats lost the election because 15% of black people did not vote for Kamala Harris. So we can be spoilers, but as far as having a significant voice to say anything and do anything and have any say so, it's not going to happen.
Absolutely. And I'm just reading you guys' comments. Skip down. Sherry, how you doing? Says these racists are much more vocal now. He's giving them courage. I don't know if Trump is giving them courage. I honestly think if you racist, you're going to be, I mean, is he making things a little easier? Like they can get away with it type stuff? Yeah, maybe, sure. But I don't think Trump made anybody racist who wasn't already that. Because if you're not already racist, nobody's going to make you that, right? Now, emboldened, yeah, maybe there's an argument there that he's emboldened them to do that. But Trump, see, this is the problem with, I think, us as humans, we don't listen. Trump already said a long time ago what he would do, and he would win. He said, again, Trump was a lifelong Democrat, okay? He said, I'll run as a Republican and I will win, because he understood the nature of America, right? The underbelly back then, right? The underbelly very racist, and they were looking for somebody to tell them it's okay, right? Hence the Make America Great Again, which is not an original slogan to Trump, but he come with the Make America Great Again, and they get delusions of grandeur. Yes, that was back when white people could just be out in the open and say what they want and do what they want. Hey, in a word, and keep it pushing and beat up people as they would do that time, right? So he knew what he had to do. And they fell for it. I say they fell for it. They suck us too. Because while some people voted for Trump for one thing, most of those people who voted for him did vote out of racism. And a lot of them people you see, well, I didn't think he'd do that to me. Well, my food stamps are being cut. My Medicare. And they thought that Trump saw them the same. You're white. Well, he's white underneath, right? The orange. I'm white, and together we're going to just go off and he's going to kick you in the tailbone too. Like I said, if you ain't got the commas he got up in his bank account and the homies got up in their bank account, you ain't like Trump, right? So those people were just like, okay, finally, I can say this out loud. I can do this out loud and don't get it messed up, okay? You still catch a bad one. You say the N-word out in the public square to somebody, the right person, you'll catch a bad one. I promise you that. So they ain't all the way crazy. And you got to remember too, social media there wasn't social media before. So you would kind of hear about those things or whatever. But now the people on social media, they got fake profiles. They mama's basement typing all this foolishness that they'll never say. Hell, they are your doctors, they your lawyers, they the judges, they the teachers. They regular people with these undercover profiles letting it rip online. So they ain't really that bold with it. Trust me. Jamila, he says, yes, the price skyrocketed with Biden and Big we'll say Big, how you doing? Says Trump being in office just allows them to show their true colors publicly. It's always been there though. Yep, I should have read your comment. Yeah, nothing has. That's just who they are. I know, like I said, it's hard to believe, but you bring in social media, oh yes, especially X. I don't go on X, Twitter much because them people are straight up crazy. Right now, I laugh at it because of some of the stuff they say, but that makes them feel good to let their inner hate come out on Twitter. But again, like I said, they're not going to be at the grocery store saying that stuff because they know better. Trust me, they do. Computer Blue says, it's head in the sand. Democrats prefer hidden white supremacists so they can stay asleep. Yeah, and they know we'll buy it, but thanks to us, right? All of us, we're waking up. Scoop, once again, thank you so much for the donation. Says Moreno Valley is full of migrants. I used to not, it used to rather not look like that. A Mexican restaurant on every corner who's approving those business loans. Yeah, well, you know who it is. They got a lot of Latinos on the city council, planning committee, and all of that. Yeah. Whenever I go visit Donovan, I'm like, let's go out to eat. He says, oh, whatever it is, I don't want to eat no Mexican restaurant. There's Mexican restaurants everywhere. He won't do it. And I'm like, well, what's good? But he won't do it. So yeah, it's everywhere. And then if you're looking, especially in Los Angeles, where it's vendors everywhere, there are vendors. And see, they think that Black folks, it's just Black folks, especially in Los Angeles, have a problem with the vendors. It's not just Black folks. It's the actual businesses that they allow some of these vendors to set up in front of. Imagine I got the overhead, the brick and mortar, right? I got the licenses. I got to do all this, that, and the other. And then you let a vendor, illegal immigrant set up in front of my business and you can't say nothing to them or you get in trouble. How's that fair to the people that's paying all these taxes and all these things that they're allowed to set up? You can't say nothing to them. But then when somebody gets sick or something, it's like, who do you sue? Can I sue the city because y'all said it was okay? So it's a lot. Like I said, California, boy, I tell you what, y'all better to get together. If y'all want Demetria K to come back, y'all better get it together.
Well, we can't because we got all this Black woman leadership that does for the illegals. You got Maxine Waters jumping in the alleys, following ICE. I mean, we got all this nonsense going on here.
Maxine Waters, Maxine. 87 years old and gonna run for office again because she ain't tired yet. And I'm not speaking nothing bad on Maxine, but is she gonna go up to glory or down below or where in office too? I mean, it comes to a point. That's why I said we gotta have some term limits, something. Like you can't just be like you're literally dying in the seat, and that's just it's crazy.
Well, explain to me this. Does this even sound in how does somebody who was born in and became a young adult in the 50s and the 60s become president today? Your foundation of who you are was formulated in the segregated America, and you're president of the United States in the modern age. How does that even work? Because your mindset is still the way you were fundamentally raised. It's crazy. And America is one of the only countries that is doing what we're doing, having these geriatric presidencies.
People having some geriatric pregnancies too. Facts I feel it says more black women are deleted by their white boyfriend or hookup than black men being deleted by his white girlfriend or hookup. Why? Because black women are having way more relations with white men on the low than we think. I mean, they might be. I don't know. They might be facts, not feelings. They might be. I don't know. But we sure are hearing a lot about it, aren't we? Okay. Ali says, do you remember?
Wondering what happened to Maxine. Well, got to remember, Maxine won her last election. 72% of Hispanics voted for her. She does not represent black representation because of the gentrification that happened in part of her district. Black people cannot afford to live there. And Maxine Waters was okay with that. And so now she does the bidding of the 72% of the Latinos that voted for her.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to find it for y'all in just a second. Molly Cakes, what's going on? Says Kamala's not FBA. She looks black, but very much Indian woman. I know. That's why I said, y'all know I don't have a wearing thought to even get into that. But yeah. Yes, Common Man. She told us in our face, and people still think that Kamala was going to be better. I'm confused. I don't know. Like I said, we don't want to learn from what Obama did to us, huh? We think somehow it's going to be different. Hey, my baby daddy on here. I ain't going to tell y'all who he is, but my baby daddy is on here. Hey, baby daddy. Says, my girl don't play. Stand strong for what's right. That's right. How you doing today? Let's see. Skipping down. Mr. Norris, it says, the people who run this country are not on the ballots. Come on now. The ones with the keys, the ones with the batteries, they not on the ballot. You are absolutely right. Mr. Ernest says, I think the parents sacrificed their son. What? Letting him go off alone with a bunch of, I'll say, people that don't look like him instead of being at home with family is some a dead cat on the line somewhere. Yeah. How you doing? I got your email. I'm gonna have to respond back to you. I just didn't have time. I've been running. So, but I will respond back to you about your inquiry. Let's see, just going down. Make sure I catch up. So far, I've seen everybody. Just want to make sure. Conversations with Sunshine says Trump is exposing what's already in the hearts of the folks that hate us. Yeah, listen, if y'all ain't learned nothing about Trump don't even. Y'all think he care about that White House? You don't think he cares? Trump ain't in that White House. Trump is getting $400 million planes. He's enriching his whole family. He doing this, he doing that. He tearing down the White House. He building the columns. He cares about the blue pool that he arrested some Olympian who he claims that ripped up the pool. The Trump is like, he won't even ride in the new plane, right? Because somebody exposed, I can't remember which, Washington Post, which they're in trouble for now, right? They exposed that the plane ain't really got all the security on it, so he won't ride in the plane. So it's like, so if it's the Air Force One, the new one, why not get it all built up unless you're planning on taking it with you?
And that's probably the case. But see, look, what I don't understand is this. Everybody can point out what Trump is doing wrong and what he should be doing and everything like that. I don't disagree with you. The man is up there just running amok. But why aren't we holding the people that are supposed to hold him in check accountable? No, we keep voting the same people that ain't doing nothing to stop this man. That's within their congressional powers to stop this man. They're just letting it go. We have no thunder for the people who are supposed to be the check and balances on the executive. But we keep complaining about Trump. Now, if you were the president and nobody's going to check you, what would you be doing right now? Wouldn't you be enriching yourself like most congressional people are doing and everybody else is doing? I would be doing everything that I can do until they stop me.
Selling
Period.
pardons and all kind of stuff.
Exactly.
You want to be free? How much you got? The ballroom, right? Which they keep saying he can't do. It's like, man.
Right. They have no smoke for the people who are supposed to hold this man accountable in our name. Trump did this. Trump did that. Okay. What is Congress doing about it? What is Congress doing about it?
Well, now that Lindsey Graham is gone. Because, he switched. He was like, Trump is worse than the devil. Then he was like, I love him. I just love Trump. And then
Bend the knee. Exactly.
He been something else too.
Well, he did die a bachelor. He did not have a family.
Well, I saw a picture of him at Disneyland with his little wand.
Yeah, he was in the Air Force, and it was said that he might have been alternate lifestyle. So,
you think? I saw somebody said on the internet that Grindr, that app will never be the same. It said the app will get a rest now. Anyway, Sweet Daddy said the Inland Empire, especially on Fontana, has those vendors all over the city. I don't eat at any of them. Fontana too? Damn. Jesus. Walt, how you doing? Says Maxine told the homeless people to go home because she didn't have any more vouchers. She didn't have any more vouchers. She did. She said, go home and we'll get back to you. They was like, we homeless?
but that brings up another point. Oh, Trump could do this. The president does not have a magic wand. If your state looks like crap, like California, that has nothing to do with who occupies the White House. That has to do with the governorship of your state. People do not understand how our government works. It's incredible to me that people could be here for 60, 70 years and still think that the president operates like a king, but you hold the governor, and I can only speak for my state. 16 years of Democratic rule, and look at the state of California, and you want Kamala Harris to be president? Or you thinking about Gavin Newsom being president? Really? Okay.
And Gavin Newsom's in trouble too. He big mad.
To let you know what we're all doing, resisting this low down, dirty, no good, filthy president of the United States of America. Let me just say this. They are targeting our leadership, both in the Latino community and in the Black community. And while they're targeting them and following them, I'm on the street and I'm following ICE. And I'm targeting ICE. And I went to the deportation center. If David Werta is here, I came to see about you, David. I came to see about you. I came to see about you because we've got to let them know that they're not going to get away with this. We're documenting everything. We're resisting. And I want to tell you, you are seeing the biggest coming together of the Black and brown community that we've seen in this city ever. We are organized. We are coalescing with each other, and we're going to fight together. And the question that you're asking, the protest must continue. You must not stop. I'm protesting. I've been to 11 of them. I stay on the street, in the alleys, wherever I need to be.
See, I don't have to lie to kick it. Like I said, I got the greatest hits. I got a whole, like I said, y'all remember back in the 90s where people had that album, the CD thing, and they had all, I got that for the greatest hits of Benign Neglect. Well, I'm going to call it Benign Neglect Volume 1 of the Democratic Party. I got it all, okay? That was Maxine. Last year, they was creating a database so that people can report ICE for misconduct and things like that. And so that was her, along with Karen Bass, Jasmine Crockett, and a whole bunch of other people from the Democratic Party. And she says she is behind the back alleys, following and chasing ICE. Okay, she's making sure. So that's what the Democrats are doing. And Maxine will probably be reelected to continue doing more of that. I'm just saying. Because, like, if I say it, y'all probably won't believe me. But if I show y'all that they have said these things, then you'll believe it. Okay, and I got one other thing for y'all. Like y'all let me know what y'all want to see. I got it. I'm like the DJ. Okay, I got the greatest hits. Let me see if I can mix some stuff together. Let's see. I'm gonna see what I can find. Just so people don't think that I'm sitting up here lying on people. Hold on. Yes. Here's a good one.
Theoretically, are reparations justified? The answer is yes. There's not much question, right? That the wealth of this country, the power of this country, was built in significant part, not exclusively, maybe not even the majority of it, but a large portion of it was built on the backs of slaves. What I saw during my presidency was that the politics of white resistance and resentment, the talk of welfare queens and the talk of the undeserving poor and the backlash against affirmative action, all that made the prospect of actually proposing any kind of coherent, meaningful reparations program struck me as politically not only a non-starter, but potentially counterproductive.
That was your president, the first Black president of the United States of America that was elected not once, but twice, predominantly, mostly, if you will, by Black voters. He got like 98%. That's damn near all of the Black vote. And he was sitting up there with Bruce Springsteen, right? The boss. They had a podcast briefly called The Renegades. And that conversation came up. And he, for lack of better words, said, well, I didn't get Black Americans reparations or even think about it, right? Because I don't want to make white people mad. Yes, it was justified. All the things that they've gone through in the country, right? Yes, but then, I didn't want to hear them talk about the welfare queen and all this. So I just decided to just do nothing. But what are you going to do about it, right? Now, this is me. I'm adding on. What are you going to do about it? They still love me. I showed up in my tan suit, gave them a shoulder shimmy. I said,
sang Al Green.
Let's stay together. Right? What else did he do? He did some other things. And Black folks just really love me. They love me to this day. I can show up. I can build a big, giant, ugly presidential library smack dab in the middle of Chicago. It looks like something out of Hellraiser. And they'll still love me, right? Everybody will show up and just it ain't everything we do. That was... I am reparations. What are you talking about? Okay. The first Black president, I think Mitch McConnell said that. He's gone and maybe he's already gone. I don't know. He said Obama was reparations. I think James Clyburn alluded to something like that. So Computer Blue said, Demetri going to hit us with the Kamala. Oh, wait, let me see. Do I have it? Hold on. I told you I got the greatest hits. Let me see if I have it. I think I have it. If I don't have it, I will get it for you. You can believe that. Hold on. Let's see if I got it. Is this it? No, that ain't it. Hold on. I don't have it. Oh my God, I'm slacking. I've failed you guys. I don't have it. But I have this one. How about this one?
Policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
And y'all are disillusioned that Kamala was going to do something for Black folks. She said it she had an attitude. No. The F? Asking me some stupid like that. I mean, that in my head, I'm a little off, y'all. So sometimes I hear things. That's what I heard. This ask me something like, I wish you would ask me something like that again. right? Oh, but there is somebody who I'm gonna show you who will get reparations. Hold on a second, okay?
Right, but didn't she also say that voting is transactional? Get yours.
I thought I had that one. I'm gonna get it though. Don't you fear. I will have that the next time. I am going to have that. But hold on a second. Hold on. I got something for you. Here you go.
Also need offensive actions around prosecutions. We need real accountability, because at the end of the day, the people that have been inflicting this harm need to be prosecuted. They need to be brought before us, and they need to be held account for the trauma that they have created, and we are going to have some form of reparation.
That was Representative Jayapal. Okay, these are all Democrats. This is why I say it's the greatest hits. She says that ICE agents need to be prosecuted when the Democrats get the gavel back. There's a longer version. I'm telling you what she said. When they get the gavel back, that they're going to be prosecuting the ICE agents. They need to hold Trump and ICE accountable, and they need to find a way to fund reparations for immigrants because they've been harmed by Trump and ICE. That was Representative Jayapal talking about reparations for people who came over here illegally. Like, while you, as a Black American, will continue to give the Democratic Party most of your votes as they're telling you these things. See, this is not me saying it, right? I ain't got a lot to kick it. These are their own words. It's not AI. Some people probably think, it's not AI. No, it's not AI. Y'all know I hate AI, right? Those are these people out their own mouth telling you what they want to do. And not y'all, but some of them will show up and vote them right back in office and then be mad when you continue to get the kick in the tailbone, talk about why they keep doing that to me.
And think about what a great country you guys are as taxpayers. You give these illegals money coming in and going to give them money going out. What a great country we are.
Yeah, I mean, they can only do that because you vote for that. You vote for that. So whose fault is it really at the end of the day?
And check this out for those guys that didn't pay attention. All these Cubans that Trump is rounding up out of Miami and stuff that have to be deported. Cuba won't take them back. So guess where they're going?
Aren't they going to Jamaica or something like that?
Jamaica and Mexico. Yep.
Yeah, and I heard they mad as hell about that. And then if you don't believe anything else, I'm gonna get into this a little bit more next week as well. But I'm just gonna give you a precursor, because see, if people be thinking I'm lying on here.
If we cannot make significant progress on racial equity, this country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do in terms of raw numbers. We're going to have to be working with a whole group of people that, in fact, are the single most diverse democracy in American history and anywhere in the world. And we got to figure out how to unify this country. And you've been the leaders of being able to do that. Not a joke. And so there's some things that I'm going to be able to do by executive order. I'm not going to hesitate to do it. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to do what used to, Benita, you probably used to get angry with me during the debates, when you'd have some of the people you were supporting said, on day one, I'm going to executive order to do this. Not within the constitutional authority. I am not going to violate the Constitution.
That was Biden telling these Negroes, listen, stop asking me for stuff. You know, doggone well, I'm not going to do nothing for you. I ain't never did nothing for you. In fact, everything I've done has been against you. And why would I ever change that right now? And I'm letting you know that the Hispanics are going to outnumber you. Well, why, sir? Do you know something that we didn't know that they were? They already did, right? But I'm just saying, was you going to bring more people in? You just didn't tell them when you opened up those border doors wide open. And you said everybody except for the Haitians could come over here and get all that. You can get it all, brand new socks and drawers. And they did, right? So what is it that you were saying? He was letting them know y'all are good at unifying the country. Basically what he's saying is y'all good at duping black folks and saying, oh, we shall overcome and all this other stuff. And they fall for a hook, line, and sinker. So y'all good at doing that. Y'all good at telling black folks get along with everybody, which means y'all gonna help everybody else. We're gonna do this black and brown coalition, but that don't ever mean that the brown get together with the black. It always means the black get together with the brown. When the brown needs something, you never hear the black or the brown misleadership or leadership come to the rescue or say anything about black folks. Never, ever, ever. So that was Joe Biden, who sat up there was president-elect, right? He hadn't even got in office good. He was president-elect, and he said it with his whole chest. Al Sharpton sitting right there like, right? He didn't say a word. So I know people get mad when you hear about Trump. Yeah, Trump's a douche. Okay, he's a douchebag. He really is. But how does that negate what the Democrats have done and been doing and will continue to do to Black Americans? At what point do we wake up? At what point do we say, okay, I get it now? Well, what point do you do that? What does it have to take? And I'm not telling you to vote for the Republican. I'm just saying vote, like, be informed. I got the this is the, maybe I'll call it a history book. We got the history book of how they feel about us. They don't bite their tongues. They don't. But we try to find a way to be mad because people voted for Trump. Did you want Donovan to vote for that? Or anybody else that voted for Trump? Did you want them to vote for that? Did you want them to vote for more of that? I want to say that those of y'all who are mad at people for voting for Trump, did you want them to continue to vote for that? And if so, why? And don't give me the lesser of two evils, because what I just showed you is that if you going by history, then the lesser two evils would have had to been Trump. Now, don't get it twisted. Trump is, they're removing the books, and all y'all know I don't give a damn about none of that, okay? Because if you don't got the book in your house, then why are you crying about it not being in the school? If you are too silly, not y'all, them over there, if you too silly to teach your children about knowledge of self and you want white folks to do that, then why are you mad at Trump? It's not Trump's fault or anybody's fault that you won't teach your own children knowledge of self or teach them about our history or any of that. You wait for the white folks to do that, so then the Democrats know how to pull your card by saying, oh, Trump took some books. Won't tell you what books they took. You probably ain't never read the book, never seen the book, but they tell you that he took the book. So you mad. Oh, he did. Oh, well, look what they're doing. He's so anti-Black. No, duh. But you know what's anti-Black? Writing crime bills that disproportionately lock up Black folks because they done took some crack, but the white folks did cocaine. They get a slap on the wrist, but your Black people, whoever they are, they get some jail time. That's, that's anti-Black. That's harmful to Black folks. Taking a book out of a library that you probably don't even have no library card to. I know that's kind of shady, but I'm just keeping it real, okay? But they know how to pull your card. They give you the little, they know how to make you angry. Just like Trump knew how to make the white base angry with the, oh, we making America great again. The Democrats know how to make you angry. Oh, he's doing this and that with the African American Museum. First of all, it costs $100 goddamn to get in there. Okay, most Black folks can't afford to get in there, but if you was gonna get in there, it should be your own museum that you own 100%, not 50%. Because as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said when he was talking to Kanye about what they did to him when they took his money, if they could take it from you, it was never really yours, right? So we start having conversations about ownership and things like that, but being mad because people didn't want to vote for some of the stuff I just showed you is absolutely crazy.
But, let me just sum this up. It's kind of like when I hear the Haitians complaining and being mad at FBAs and Americans here, and we don't have the power. I don't know any FBA Black person that stopped TPS or had the power to stop TPS, but the anger is directed at us. And I'm bringing this up to say this. This is the delusion. You guys have all seen the video of the Haitian doctor lady that said immigrants built the country, right? We've all seen that video. This lady has a strong accent. She just got here maybe 7 years ago under TPS herself. So so we know that's an outright lie. But the first thing, and I was talking to my Haitian friend, and by the way, I want to clarify this. My grandmother's name is Baptiste. So we don't know this for a fact, but we probably have a good inclination that I might have Haitian descent in my family tree. Okay, so let me just get that straight off the bat there. However, I'm talking to my Haitian friend who has to go, right? I guess they got extended for another 2 weeks. This dude told me that if it wasn't for Haitians, they were the first country to give themselves free, right? Now, I'm a military man. You didn't defeat Napoleon because Napoleon was fighting on the continent of Europe against Britain, Russia, and all the other countries that were coming against him. You had a detachment of soldiers in the Western Hemisphere that did what they did, whatever. He has to fund the war. So this he's giving me the whole story of how Haitians became the first people to gain their independence. And I asked him one simple question. I said, well, if you gained your independence, why did you guys have to pay up until the recent 1990s France money if you beat them? So going back to emotions, do you see what I'm saying? When you use your emotions, it suspends your basic logic. Now, what did I just say there? This guy sat in my face and told me that Haitians were the first to get their independence. And that's true in the essence that he's using it. But if you were truly free, why are you paying ransom to a country you just defeated? If you guys got an answer to that, let me know.
And, and I want to just say this too, as far as, the TPS status ending for the Haitians, the Syrians, Venezuelans, and the people from Myanmar, and just different people, right? TPS status is ending. But I understand too, the the Trump administration told employers that you can no longer honor the TPS permit or status. So if you're hiring these people, you'll get in trouble. So there's a lot of people who will be losing their jobs and things like that. But I want to just say this. I don't wish anybody ill will, because like I said, when I studied the history of why those said people have the TPS situation there, is because of things that went on in the country as far as the earthquake, the stabilization of the government, rogue armies, and all the things, right? So they were granted temporary, and that means they're here legally, right? They were anyway. I know they have some time to leave, but they were here legally, so they weren't here illegally. Obama gave that to the Haitians and the Syrians 2010, 2012, to help them out or whatever it is. Now it has been extended about 12 to 18 times because it can go from anywhere 6 months to 18 months. So it has been extended. The Trump administration just decided that they weren't going to do it, went to the Supreme Court and all that. And the Supreme Court says, yeah, well, the Trump administration can revoke that for them. So I just want to say that they were here legally for whatever reason. I always said if anybody should be here, I think it should be the Haitians, because America, and not just Haitians, but a lot of countries, right? America has had his hand in destabilizing a whole lot of governments, right? But especially with Haiti, the Clinton administration, they were supposed to help them.
Wait, did you say Clinton administration?
Yeah,
that's a Democratic president.
Yeah, the Clintons, yes. Let's keep it a buck, right? Of course, so there's a lot of things going on there, but we also saw, we're going to mention another Democrat, President Biden, when the Haitians did converge on the Texas southern border. What do we see? It was like something out of 1806, where you saw, these police officers or the border patrol on the horses with lassos and all kind of stuff. It was a very horrible sight to see it. And Biden was like, oh, we can't afford to keep them here. And they sent them right back. But then we saw an influx of a whole lot of other people come over here, as Donovan said, helping to destabilize and dilapidate the black neighborhoods. That's why you got Chicago flips red, because they sent a lot of the Venezuelans right now. The Texas governor, Greg Abbott, and a lot of other red states basically said, okay, well, we didn't vote for the open borders. Y'all did. So we're going to send them to the blue states. So that's how a lot of the illegal immigrants ended up in Chicago. But then, of course, they moved a lot of them to the black neighborhoods. And so, that was done. So when I think about the Haitian conversation, I in no way, shape, or form, and I'm just speaking for me, want that to come off as vitriol or anything like that, because I always say, there, but for the grace of God, there go I, which means that I'm glad that's not my situation. I'm glad that I was not in a country that was destabilized for whatever reason. Earthquakes, right? Venezuela, they ended their TPS status. They just had 2 giant, almost 8-point earthquake, right? And they're still finding bodies as we speak. So I'm saying all that to say that I'm glad that I do not come from that situation to where I would need to seek asylum or temporary status in any country. And then I would have to go back, especially when we hear of white South Africans getting to come over here, and the white people, they ain't, into their TPS and things like that. When they get to come over here over lies that there's genocide going on, when that's been debunked 4,000 ways that they're not endangered over there in South Africa. But if you know the playbook, and it's been the playbook even long before Trump came into office, is that they need the United States to whiten up again. So yes, there's a lot of things going on there. So there's a lot of truisms, if you will. But I just wanted to kind of give it that context, because unfortunately, a lot of people talk about the Haitians or the Syrians or anybody else, and they don't really give it the full conversation. Now, I also said this, if you research the Syrians, because I told you that I would, you also know that they are white Arabs. Now, we talk bad about the Haitians. When I say we, I'm just saying collectively, but we never really mention the Syrians, and they set up shop in our neighborhoods, the liquor stores and all the things. And they're in lockstep, unfortunately, with the Asians and a lot of the Indians and people like that who are in our communities. But nobody's saying anything about the things that the Syrians do in those corner stores. So I just want to make sure that we're having a full, honest conversation. Now, does illegal immigration, and they're not illegal, right? Again, it's as of right now, okay? But does illegal immigration hurt Black Americans? Yes, it hurts everybody, but more so it does hurt us, because we're already kicking ass backwards, excuse my French. So then when you bring in illegal immigration, some would argue that is to replace us, right? Whether it's voting or whatever it is, cheaper labor, it does hurt us. Now, I want to say this, with TPS status ending and that these employers cannot hire these people, there's a lot of jobs that will be coming open. That's what I'm going to say. And if you do not want to take those jobs, I'm saying as Black folks, let's create our own jobs, because we got $2 trillion spending power every year up to this point coming into our community. We give 97% of that away. So we cannot cry about what's being done to us when we're doing it to ourselves. If somebody open up in your neighborhood, whether it's Asian, Arab, whatever, and they mean earthly goods, you ain't got to go in there. Why are you going in there? Right now, y'all know what we're doing. We're abstaining from the Asian businesses due to the unaliving of our children. And as I said, it's not just them. Everybody needs that conversation from white organizations. I have not been in a Walmart. It's been a month or so. I told you I would not go in there, especially what they did to that baby, Cohen, right? Wiley, a 1-year-old that was unalived in Senatobia. I made it a vow that I will not go in there, because they were complicit in that. And they're also complicit in not giving the community what they need to see what actually happened in that situation. So we can talk about the Haitians and illegal immigrants and things like that. But if we don't talk about the real wealth transfer and build up our own community, we're just bumping our gums. That's it.
Absolutely. But I just want to add, like I said, I possibly have Haitian background. Talking to my friend, the delusion and the thing of emotions. This is how strong the emotions are, okay? My friend's been here, I guess, for 15 years, right? Now, the lady that said that they built the country, she's a doctor. There's a lot of Haitians that are in the United States military. They have a lot of Haitians. They've come here 15, 20 years. A lot of these people have gotten the resources and the skills they need. It's time for them to go back, and this ain't a discussion about, whatever. What I'm saying is, they got a gang problem, there's violence. You have a lot of Haitians that have military experience now. They can go back and make their country great. But I will say this. I'm about to venture into the Caribbean myself tomorrow. And when I go to the Caribbean, and I go to whatever countries I go to, I make it a point not to be disrespectful of their culture, because I am a guest there. And some of you guys have said in the chat how disrespectful some of these people have come here, talk about we're lazy, we're this, we're that, but yet you're in our country, right? And cats are jumping up there, and they're in our country and stuff. But at this point, after 18 years of being here and getting the degrees, the skills to deal with what they need to deal with, it's just time to go. It's time to go. It meant temporary. And again, some of them in the 18 years, and this is what I tell you guys about immigration, legal or illegal. The people that are here are not the issue. The threat is the children that they are going to have that is going to be competing with your children and your grandchildren for limited jobs that are coming down the pipe. So for the Haitians that have been here for 18, 20 years, whatever it is, God bless them, they're legal. They've had children. And those children are American citizens now. These are the people that are going to be competing with your children, going into offices and making legislation and laws, just like we see with our CBC. CBC's number one agenda this congressional term is immigration. 18, 20 years, they have enough resources. Temporary means temporary, and they need to go home at this point. But my point is, getting emotional suspends your basic logic. This is why we have to get out of our emotions and get to the common facts. If we did what some of these people do in this country, could you go over to the Dominican Republic without a passport and a line? Absolutely not. Name me a country where you can just walk in there. They're going to give you housing, food, whatever else you need to set you up, and bank loans. How are people that just get here eligible for bank loans, and people that are FBAs and Native Americans, and I'm talking about native, not the Indian natives, but born Americans, they can't get loans, but these people can. Name me a country where that happens, and that is, to me, a consequential threat to the United States. So it's just time for them to go. It's unfortunate, but for my Haitian relatives and friends, or whatever their situation is, don't direct your hate at FBAs and be disrespectful. We don't have the power to stop TPS or do these things. The reason why we're not protesting and stuff, because the disrespect, and we have nothing to gain by protesting for you. If we protest for you, if anything, that's stabbing our own selves in the back. So it's just time to go.
Yes, facts, not feelings. I agree. The Haitians aren't the problem. Like you said, they're number 10 as far as immigration is concerned. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, like I said, there's levels to this conversation. So anyway, and Brother Sam, you said you haven't been back to Walmart either. Yeah, I'm just, not going to do it. And I haven't missed it. Shanika, what's going on with you? I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a long time. So anyway, y'all, we're going to get out of here. I just realized it's over 2 hours, right? So Donovan will be traveling tomorrow. So I will be here to have a great conversation with you all. So in the meantime, thank y'all for being here.
Donovan will be here. I'm on the red light flight tomorrow.
Oh, you on the red eye?
I'm on the red eye.
To go to the red light district. And
First stop, Panama. First stop, Panama. I got to go see the old bases. Got a lot of expat friends that are there. I used to do the Cornet Oak. For those guys that are familiar with that were in the military, Cornet Oak was the resupply of the radar sites in the Americas and the Caribbean and South America and stuff like that, and some drug interdiction missions. So I will be here. I'll be on the red light tomorrow.
The red light to the red eye to hear, hey, Poppy, you back, Poppy? Where you been, Poppy?
Hey, immigrant single moms need help too. We got to spread that democracy all over the place.
Is it democracy that you're spreading? Hey, Dominicans, listen, you're in danger, okay? Donovan's Speedos is on the way.
Yes, I have packed the traveling Speedos will be in effect. I'll be there I'll be in the Dominican Republic for a week. For those guys that don't know, I just came back from Hawaii. I was there for a day, went there, jumped on a transport, came back, whatever. So, I'm getting back into my travel mode, and hopefully you'll see Dimitri and I doing some travel videos in different spots and stuff. So we're going to get back to that, because, it's one thing, and don't get me wrong, we enjoy doing these videos and things, but at the same time, technology tells us, and Dimitri and I talk about it all the time, why are we just staying here? We should be going some other places and knocking 2 birds with 1 stone and get all this stuff done that we need to get done, because life is too short. And I'm 56, she's 25, she's still got a whole thing to go, and and we're going to do that. I mean, this is the technology, so let's take advantage of that. So why not?
Heavy on the 25. Anyway, Albie Chili said come back to Ohio. I'll come back to Ohio. I just don't know at what capacity. That's a long story, but yeah, one day I'll be back in Ohio. Anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. See y'all tomorrow. He said ego trip, African native, you crazy. Peace.